I'm here with my client, Zach. He runs his own info coaching business where he teaches business professionals to go from cynic fat to fit using the productivity protocol that we just talked about yesterday. So, in this quick kind of podcast thing, I want to go over with how Zach is wearing both shoes of being a mentor to your clients and being someone getting taught with me, right? You're wearing the both shoes of being the client and being the mentor. So
Right.
I want to know the reason or the main thinking process of how you think of your ways right now. For example, you're in this place where you're in the authority. You're the person that people get knowledge from. Now you're in a position where you're getting that knowledge from someone else. So I want to know what is the thinking process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I was deciding how I wanted the future of my program to look like long term, I wanted it to be solidified when it came to all aspects of my business, when it came to fulfillment, when it came to marketing, when it came to sales, when it came to the back end, right? And when it came to my offer, I have no problem. So when I looked at my business, I saw that there was a gap when it came to the marketing, right? How can I stand out from the entire fitness industry? Because it's a very saturated market, right? It's a big market. So I need to be able to find a way to position myself in such a unique position where I sort of own my own space and own my own bubble. And the reason for that is because I want to be able to improve and excel my business moving forward. And when I stumbled upon your account, I realized and I was able to observe that you would be able to help bring in that type of knowledge and the right strategies into my business. And in a business perspective, you always need to be able to invest in yourself, take on mentors, take on courses, right? Because not only will you gain the right knowledge, but most importantly, you'll save so much time,
Yes.
right? Because you'll fast track the learning. You'll you won't have to go through the mistakes, right? Because you're gonna be learning from someone who already experienced it. So that's the entire process.
That I love that. When you said that, that fast tracking the process,
Yeah.
like making sure that you go through this and you collapse time so that you can actually go from point A to point B, just like how you do to a client. So I want to go through the process of what does someone actually need in order for them to actually be succeeding in a program. Not even in this program, my program, or even your program, a program in general. What does someone has to have in their characteristic, in their traits, and even how they think?
Mm-hmm. I think the number one thing for me is consistency and trusting that it's a long game. I think now in today's world, it's somewhat artificially presented online that you can make money so quickly and so fast, right? But in reality, that's not the case. You need to be able to play the long game, stay in the business for such, a long period of time so that you can learn and overcome all of these challenges. And consistency as well. You need to be able to show up every single day, no matter how you're feeling, right? If you feel tired, if you don't feel motivated, you still need to show up.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. You mentioned about consistency because when you play out the right ways and do the right things on a consistent basis, there's basically nothing that needs to be said and done in order for you to not succeed, right?
Right.
But for some unique reasons, when someone stalls or when someone doesn't hit those progress that they really want to have, is it more of the strategy or more of something along the lines of being the person or the characteristics, or is it kind of a both part,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, I guess you need to be able to look at yourself from a certain
Yeah.
lens, and you need to be able to analyze the patterns, the trends, the behaviors that you're doing, right? That's why I said it's a long game, because throughout that process, you'll be able to understand how you react, how you think, how you strategize, how to execute on certain problems and certain challenges, right? And once you understand that from yourself, then you'll have a better understanding on what it is that you need to do to execute.
I love that. I love that. It's really short and simple. It's just having the mentality of knowing what to do because you have the strategies presented in front of you already, and having the mentality of being the right person to be absorbing all those knowledge, right?
Right, right.
So I want to go to a couple more questions before we go in. And what does this work really demand from a person, and what's the wrong way to show up for it? Because you mentioned consistency is the first um, need or first necessity in order for this. But like for some reason, for some reason, if all goes well, what is the mentality that someone needs to avoid? Consistency is what what we need to have. What do you need to avoid?
Complacency.
Mm.
That's number one for sure. I mean, people get complacent when they start seeing results. People get complacent when things become easy. And if you're someone who's a high achiever, if you're someone who has big goals and you want to set big expectations for yourself and for the people around you, then you can never be complacent, right?
Mm.
Once you hit the next goal, you should think, okay, what's next? 2 months from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Always think long term and think big.
Yeah.
You should always avoid being complacent because I don't think that'll get you far.
I love the way you said that you should think the long game, because I think when you're starting an info business, or even when you're just about to scale it, I think people would always go around and say that they want to play this game for like 2 years or 3 years, and I think that's just the wrong mentality. Because if you're just here for the short term, you can never really go to the mile of being the person who wants to be on the top of whatever you're doing. For example, is in the fitness industry, we're not just gonna try to dominate the market that we're currently in. We want to go global, international. We want to be on the top, and we want to be on the leading edge of the discoveries and the explorations of how we can improve this industry for the better. And it's your mission. It's also my mission in my industry, right? So I want to go back to my offer, bro. I want to go back to where it all started for you, because like I wonder what you think with my program. What is the type of person where this would really fit? Who is this really for? And what would you say to someone still deciding if they're on the fence of working with me? Like when you are in your position, when your shoes of you're thinking of seeking for the right help with someone who's an expert of whatever you're trying to use.
Yeah, if you're someone who really wants to be able to scale their personal brand, not only from a follower view standpoint, but also in the business perspective, right? I think June has the experience and the knowledge and the know-hows and the right strategies and executions that you need in order for you to take your personal brand to the next level. From everything that we've gone over yesterday's, from yesterday's topic to what we're going to be talking about now, there's so much value that I'm learning, right? I think I only know the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah.
I think you're showing me like where the real chunk of value is when it comes to personal branding and when it comes to coaching, right? And selling information. So if you're someone who really wants to take it to the next level, then you should definitely check out June. He's the man.
My G, bro. My G, bro. I think that's that. I think that's done.
All right,
You
perfect.
see how I'm